Hey everyone, Scott here to discuss Lethal Weapon 2, starring Mel Gibson, Danny Glover, Joe Pesci, Joss Ackland, and Derek O'Connor, and directed by Richard Donner. Now let's just get into this movie because I have seen this quite a few times and it's not going to be the same with this review now. The movie opens with a car chase between Riggs and Murtaugh, returned by Mel Gibson and Danny Glover, with a criminal. For what reason? I think it'll explain later, I don't know. Riggs starts chasing the criminal on foot at first, but suddenly he drives and runs on a railing on the freeway with no room, and they keep coming until he eventually escapes, and the criminal, and they find a trunk full of gold, which was ridiculously stupid. At one point, Riggs gets out of a straitjacket and dislocates his arm and locates it back, which will come back later, by the way. Do yourselves a favor and don't try this at home. It's so bad. Riggs and Murtaugh get a shit assignment as protective custody to a man named Leo Getz, played by Joe Pesci, who's the most annoying character in this series. Forget Jar Jar, for Christ's sakes. It's this guy, as he talks way too fucking much. And yeah, this is turning into a shit movie. And Joe Pesci deserves better than the material given to him as far as I'm concerned. Riggs gets another chase and kills a henchman with a surfboard and busts a political man from a foreign country named Arjen Rudd, played by Joss Ackland. And after the bust, Riggs and Rika Van den Haas, played by Patsy Kensit, and excuse me if I said the character's name wrong. And next thing you know, Riggs follows Rudd around, and what the fuck does the political foreigners have to do with the cops? And Lethal Weapon, the original from last week? None of this made sense to me. Murtaugh gets stuck on his toilet. Why? Because there's a bomb on the side of the toilet, and Riggs calls the bomb squad, and everyone in the LAPD, LAFD, fire department otherwise, and paramedics get involved, and they get Riggs and Murtaugh jumping out of the toilet as the toilet gets blown up, which was hysterical in kind of a stupid way, in my opinion. While Riggs picks up Rika, cop after cop are either injured or killed by Rudd and his goons, and Leo gets captured by a couple of goons of his, and Murtaugh gets attacked by a couple of goons and shoots a nail gun to kill the motherfuckers. Riggs gets approached by a helicopter, and Riggs fights back with a machine gun and gets Rika and Sam the dog, and Rika is dropped off at her place I thought the sequence was a bunch of stupid fucking nonsense until we get Riggs getting captured and thrown in with a straitjacket in the water, seeing Rika drown to death. And Riggs gets out of that, which was a setup at the beginning. It was bad then, it's bad now. And I'm going to confess something right now. I have seen that deleted scene that was supposed to be like an alternate ending where she's at a Thanksgiving dinner at the Murtaughs with Riggs. I don't know, it doesn't make sense to me. I'm glad she's dead, is my point. Riggs breaks Rudd's house as vengeance for killing Rika, and this is when the movie gets out of control at this point. As far as cliches are concerned, and they part from Leo after he gets rescued, and they go after Rudd on a ship, and they have a gun battle, and Riggs versus Rudd was a dumb battle, as well as his henchman, the main one. And Rudd is killed by Riggs, or not Riggs, but Murtaugh, and Riggs is wounded, and Murtaugh comforts Riggs as they talk about the good times, and at this point I'm glad it's over, and it'll get worse in part 4. Now it's time for the rating. I'll give this movie a 3.1 out of 10. This movie is so bad it's embarrassing. I felt very bad for Joe Pesci because he's stuck in this most annoying character ever. Some of this shit makes no sense whatsoever, but it'll get worse when I get to part 4, and you'll see why when we get there in a couple of weeks. So I would like to thank you guys for joining me, and I will be back next week with Lethal Weapon 3. And until next time, eeny, meeny, miny, hey!